Hey everybody, this is Mr. Anonymous. Welcome back to a brand new video. You just recently got me as anonymous input on the Grizzly of Great America. I'll give you mine soon, but in this video, I would love to give a huge shout out to my good pal, High Thrill Studios. Really cool YouTube creator. I love his videos, like Steel Vengeance, and also he did one on Mystic Timbers, but every airtime moment Michael Jackson screams hee hee. That's iconic. That's just so cool. He's also got lots of YouTube shorts of Kings Island and Cedar Point rides, with, of course, music over it, like kind of like what I like to do, actually. He's got one with Queen City Stunt Coaster. He's got Don't Stop Till You Get Enough by Michael Jackson on there. He's got one with Rougarou, and he put Footloose over it. Perfect fit because it's a floorless coaster. Anyway, but this video is actually a proposal of a ride idea that the two of us came up with. So Cedar Point used to have a flat ride called a Witch's Wheel, which is an enterprise ride, which basically you sit in a cage, you spin around really fast, and then the wheel tilts to 87 degrees, and you're basically flipping upside down. That ride closed in 2018. And did not get replaced really. Well, it got replaced, but they also just recently pulled the axe on the Monster, which is like a super spinny ride. You know, the Monster is a pile-up. You see this at Kings Island. They closed theirs just recently. Unfortunately, I don't know that there is a modern replacement for that, but my ride idea for you, Cedar Point, is a Zamperla Endeavor. The Zamperla Endeavor is basically the modern technology floorless seat version of the Enterprise with over-the-shoulder restraints. High Thrill Studios and I we were talking in one of his videos, and we were like, I brought it up to him. I was like, what if Cedar Point got a Zamperla Endeavor to replace the Witch's Wheel? He's like, that's awesome. That's pretty fire. It could sit in the Monster plot of land. They're lacking, they're modern flats anyway. I was like, sick. I like that idea. So I think great. A little bit of specs on that Endeavor. So there are similar rides out there. There's Soul Spin at Kings Island, but I don't know that people would want to drive like 4 hours just to ride an Enterprise when they used to have one at their home park. There's also Six Flags St. Louis Supergirl. Same with Six Flags New England. Catwoman Whip It over Texas and over Georgia. You've got a couple options here. You've got 24-seater Endeavor, which is just a one-seater per, and you've also got a 48-seater option, which is 2 seats together. But you can decide on that. But the ride itself is basically the old Enterprise, except with new technology, over-the-shoulder restraints, and just a slightly more open-air experience. Kentucky Kingdom did the same with their old Enterprise. They used to have a Huss Enterprise just like Witch's Wheel. They took theirs out and replaced it with one of theirs just like that. They replaced it with theirs. Now theirs is called Scream Extreme. This ride basically, the maximum height when it's fully tilted is about 65 feet or so, and the maximum speed is about 25 miles per hour. And yeah, as I mentioned previously, capacity is about, if you want a smaller version, 24 per cycle. If you want a larger version, 48 per cycle. 48 per cycle, there's currently 2 in operation that are 48 per cycle. That is one in Emerald Park in Ireland, and there's one at Six Flags Over Texas in Arlington, Texas. All the other Endeavor installations currently installed are 24-seater models. But it's up to you, Cedar Point, if you'd like to put in a 24 or 48, but I just think that's a great replacement for the Witch's Wheel, and it certainly will bring back some old memories. You could give it some interesting theming, like, or maybe just keep the classic name Witch's Wheel. Or you can, come up with something interesting, something very interesting. It could be a sun disk, or it could be like a Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune. That's a fun one. But I trust that you guys are gonna be really creative with your theming and your naming. And just a suggestion, I'd love to see one open at Cedar Point. Honestly, though, without an Enterprise, the vibe is just not there. You know, for example, at California's Great America, we have Orbit, but whenever Orbit is closed, or if they ever take it out, the vibe is just not there. It's just like a huge chunk of something got removed, and it's just the vibe is very empty. So I feel like that's just how much enterprises really play in the amusement parks. They just, once they're closed, they just take out a huge chunk of that vibe. But when they're open, it's like, wow, you've got this big old spinning spectacle, and it's like once you step in that queue, it's so iconic, and just, you're like, wow, I'm about to step into my own capsule, or you know, sit in that seat and enjoy that ride. I just can't imagine what it would be like if Soul Spin weren't running at Kings Island, or if Supergirl was down at St. Louis, or Scream Extreme was, you know, closed at Kentucky Kingdom, or whatever. That would just take out a huge chunk. Well, anyway, that's just a ride idea for Cedar Point. If you like it, great. If you don't, well, you can bash me in the comments. But that's an idea. If you do want to implement it, great. If not, you know, that's okay. Life goes on. Be sure to like, share, subscribe for more travel videos coming out soon. I'm Mr. Anonymous, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!